Good to go.
Yep.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. I'm Chris Witt. In front of me, in the Kentucky Enforcers basketball sweatshirt, Mr. Adam Schmidt. Adam, how are you today?
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
How are you?
If I was any better, I'd be you. So we got a lot of good things to go over today. It's kind of a slow week in sports. So before we get into it, though, I do want to say two things. Number one, we've been doing this for a year now. Yeah. One of our very first episodes was all about the Hall of Fame inductions for baseball Hall of Fame inductions last year. And yesterday, the Hall of Fame made its newest induction. So congratulations to those guys. We'll get into that, talk about them. But number one most important thing that happened this past week is Adam Schmidt turned 37. Are you 37 now?
Somewhere around there.
Happy birthday to you. And at the same time, he also, 2 days beforehand, became a new uncle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're allowed to say the baby's name, but congratulations, Jen and Doug. It's a baby boy.
Baby boy. Yep, that was my favorite birthday present I've ever gotten.
Yeah. 2 days before your birthday, correct?
2 days before my birthday, so we're going to share a birthday time, birthday week.
100%. You for now on, Skyline will not be guaranteed as your birthday dinner.
No, I'm gonna make sure he loves Skyline.
Sure, but there might be a period of time where my man decides he wants to watch something a little different. Watch something a little different, eat something a little different.
It depends on what. I'm sure. Look, as long as he doesn't want to go to like a Chinese restaurant or something like that, I'm all set. I'm probably gonna be all right.
Gotcha. All right. Well, congratulations to you.
Hey, thanks.
Congratulations to your sister. You're now an uncle to 3 little children. Congratulations. Someday, buddy.
You know what? I'm leaning more and more toward just being an uncle because
you kind of enjoy
they're my 3 favorite people on the earth, and it's so much fun to go over and just get to play. And then they get tired and cranky, and it's time to go to bed, and they start crying, and I get to go home.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't have to deal with any of that.
You don't have to listen to it, and I'm going to tell you that's the least most fun part about having kids. All right, so anyway, happy birthday to you, 37 years old, young, 37 years young. So let's get started. I want to start with every single week. You can catch the Nosebleed Sports Podcast Facebook page. We throw a poll out there. We are currently in the middle of best NBA nicknames, not best NBA players, best NBA nicknames. The number 2 seed, Magic, smoked. Number 15.
Smoked.
Who was 15? The Matrix, right?
The Matrix.
Yeah, Sean Marion. Mm-hmm. So this week, get on, vote. It is going to be, this is a big one for me.
It is for you.
Because number 14 seed is facing the number 3 seed. The 14 seed, we decided, 14th best nickname in NBA history is the King. So King James. LeBron James, number 14, versus, honestly, I got to say, a better nickname. Dennis Rodman, the Worm. That's a phenomenal nickname.
I'm gonna keep an eye on your vote. I'm gonna watch who you vote for.
I'm probably gonna vote for. I'm voting for the King.
Oh, you son of a gun!
I don't have Facebook, so I can't vote. So I don't have it.
Can you vote on your own poll?
Yeah, you can't vote on your own poll, can you?
You can't. Yeah, I think you can.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
But I don't have a Facebook page, so you'll never know what I vote.
But you have the Nosebleeds.
I have access to the Nosebleeds Facebook page, and they may decide to vote for King James.
Well, I hope they decide to vote for the best nickname, not the best player.
I'm with you. All right, we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting. All right, so we got that. We also got we had the conference championship games in the NFL. Those were amazing. absolutely amazing games. Well, 3/4 of the Patriots game sucked, but the last quarter was awesome and crazy. And then we're going to get into the Hall of Fame, like we said. The Reds made another move. How about that?
Another big move for what they've been the last few years.
Right. So, they're the only ones really out there making moves. So, for them, and then we got our big three, and we're bringing back swipe left, swipe right. So to any of the old viewers, months and months ago, we did swipe left, swipe right, way back after episode 8 and the dating sites app episode, which was pretty funny. So swipe left, swipe right's back. That's what I got, brother. Let's get started. So let's start with the conference championship games.
Yes.
So the first game of the day was the NFC. I'm sorry. Yeah. The NFC game was the Saints v. the Rams.
Right.
And I'm a huge New Orleans Saints fan. I love Drew Brees. I think that guy is phenomenal. I wanted them to win worse than anything in the world, and I almost pulled my TV off the wall in the call when the pass interference call, which everybody's seen the video, the most blatant pass interference I've ever seen in my life, and not called. And it's hilarious because I was looking. There's video from people in the stands, because I kept wondering where were the referees, kind of angles, blah blah blah. They always talk about if you're looking at it from this angle, it may look different. There's two referees within 5 yards of the play. They are, and on two different angles, and they both just throw their hands up, incomplete. Most ridiculous, terrible call I've ever seen in my life.
That's what my thing was. When I first saw that, I was like, it has to be the angle. There's some reason that I feel like this is the easiest call to make ever, and there's a reason that it's not being called, because I'm seeing it from an odd angle, or there's something I don't understand. Maybe there's a rule that I never played football. I'm not the biggest football guy.
You played football.
But I play every year. I play every single year.
You played football as a kid. Didn't you play football one year?
I did not.
Joey did.
My brother,
Your brother
yes.
did. That's right. Yeah, okay.
He played for a year. I played for 0 years. Anyway, I know what pass interference is, though. I feel like I do, at least. And that one was the easiest one. And I was genuinely confused. I was confused by the non-call.
Right.
And so that's what I thought. Maybe the angle. But honestly, any angle you look at that from,
it's terrible. And the funny thing is, they're like, oh, when you slow it down, maybe it's worse that way. No, I'm going to tell you right now that was just as bad, if not worse, in real time than it was when it was slowed down. Horrible. And I hate saying that the refs blew a game or one call blew a game. I disagree. There's so much that goes into a game, and I agree with that 100%. However, this game New Orleans had the ball. They're marching down the field. That call happens, and you can't tell me that doesn't change the way you're playing. I mean, these guys on the field are. I mean, I don't even think Sean Payton coached the rest of the game. He was too busy screaming at the refs the whole rest of the game. And it went to overtime, and you had an opportunity in overtime. The point is, never should have happened. Dale Nolan, I feel for you, brother. He's on there now. He's on Facebook Live, tweeting in. Or does this tweeting in when you get on this thing, or is it just chiming in? He's chiming in,
just commenting.
Brother, I feel for you. Huge Kansas City fan, and he wants us to do a Nosebleeds podcast remote from Kansas City.
All expenses paid. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm down too. We're working on it. We're working on it. Anyway, we'll get to the Chiefs game in a second for you. But so, speaking of the Chiefs game, let's just talk about that, because obviously the Rams come down, and the game was the Rams Saints game ended up coming down to referees and a kicker.
Yep.
That's what decided the game.
The Rams kicker. So on that no call, they would have had the Saints would have had, I think, first and goal. The pass interference happened on like the 5-yard line, so they would have had first and goal there. Probably would have scored, but we don't know that for sure. That's the thing is, really obvious call, probably would have ended up in a score for them, but we don't know that for sure. The Rams could have stopped them. So either way, the Saints got a field goal out of that. The Rams, Zerline, what's his first name?
Yeah, Zerline's good enough. He's a kicker. We don't need to know his name.
Zerline, Vladimir Zerline.
That actually sounds like that should be right. It's not right,
but
it sounds like it should be right.
But I'm going to call
him. If your
name's
Zerline, it should definitely be Vlad.
I'm going to call him Vladimir Zerline.
We'll just call him Vlad from now on.
Okay, Vlad. I'm a Cincinnatian. Vlad kicked a 48-yard field goal to tie the game with 15 seconds left, and then he kicked a 57-yard game-winning field goal in overtime to win that game.
Huge foot. The guy, he did what he's paid to do. Yeah, size 20. I heard about those size 23s.
Left foot is a 10.5. Right foot, his kicking foot, 23.
I feel like that would make you a worse kicker with a larger foot. More surface area to miss kick the ball. I feel like with a smaller foot, you can be a little more pinpoint accurate on where you kick the ball.
If you were playing tennis and you had a bigger racket, would that be the same thing, or would it?
Yeah,
be
but
easier?
your racket is bigger than the ball. Where in this, your foot is always going to be. In the ball is perfectly round. This ball is obtruse. What shape is football?
Oblong, maybe?
Oblong? I like oblong. I'm good with that. I feel like oblong should be small in the middle and big on the ends, whereas a football is small on the ends and big in the middle. Doesn't oblong sound that way?
I think oblong, I don't know.
Speaking
it's misshapen.
Oblong's a good one. I want to get into a swipe left, swipe right. That kind of goes in with oblong. Anyway, doesn't matter how big a guy's foot is or not. Fact is, he kicked it. Congratulations to the Rams. You shouldn't have won. Never should have happened. I'm done with it. We'll get into the Super Bowl next week.
Excited,
Saints.
really quick, Rams. Excited for Andrew Whitworth.
Huge, big time for Andrew Whitworth. Congratulations, Whit. We appreciate all the comments you have every week with us. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Whit. And Jake McQuaid, their long snapper, who was instrumental because the snaps for those kicks were
most
perfect.
important.
And he is a former Elder Panther.
Yeah, let's hope that they win the Super Bowl via a field goal and the snap is perfect and nothing bad happens and Jake McQuaid's remembered forever.
I'd love it.
The best thing that
either way, he's not going to be remembered forever.
That's what I'm saying. The best thing to ever happen to a long snapper is for nobody to know who you are. So hopefully after the Super Bowl he gets a ring, nobody knows who he is, we're good to go. All right, so let's get into the Chiefs game because the Chiefs game so they're going to look into this, right? Obviously, everybody's talking about what can you challenge. The offseason, you're going to have all these things come up. What can you challenge? What can't you challenge? I am a proponent. Bill Belichick said it for years. Give the coaches one more flag or one more challenge. Give them 3 for the game. They can decide the most important plays because you still have to. You can't challenge every play whenever you want and have infinite challenges because you have to have. That's part of the game. It's just like in baseball. The referees making judgment calls. That's part of the game. Now, if you get something extremely wrong, then that needs to be changed. But if it's a little bit here, a little bit there, okay. So I believe that I like the idea of give them 3 total challenges and let them challenge any call, anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely anything. And if they, just go up, tell the guy what you want to challenge, he'll make an announcement to the people and go from there. What do you think they should do?
That's what replay's for, to get it right. Why are we deciding what things you can, what kind of plays you can and can't challenge? It's there to make sure you get the call right.
Right.
I even think if there's if you think there's a pass interference and you want to challenge that, you say, I think there was pass interference, check that. And they check it, and whether they see pass interference or not, there's another penalty they see in there. You need to call that. You get it right. Which, speaking of that, the league did come out and say they missed 2 calls on that because not only was it a pass interference, it was a helmet hit.
Right. But that helmet-to-helmet, that could go either way.
There's gray area there, but it still was. And
it was, yeah.
Sometimes they call them silliest helmet-to-helmet. So.
I'm even okay with I'm even okay with just saying, all right, here's what I want to challenge, and just look for that. You got 3 of them. Just look for that. If it's not there, don't do it. I don't know about going back and looking at plays and challenging one thing but finding another. Man, so much could happen.
Right.
There's so many things that can happen on every play, though. You'd be looking at a ton of stuff. It'd have to be involved in the actual play that they're watching. You know what I mean? So it would have to be like that call where it was helmet to helmet and pass interference. Everything happened in the same two people, same vicinity, things like that. Anyway, that's what I think. The next thing they're going to look into is going to be overtime, because you had the most exciting fourth quarter of football, and you have the goat. I hate that. Mm-hmm. The goat. You have the sheep or the mustard. I don't know where mustard came from. But you got the goat. You got Tom Brady coming down, doing what Tom Brady does. No matter which team had the ball, every time they got the ball in the fourth quarter, I was thinking, man, there's way too much time left. If they score this quick, whoever, either Mahomes or Brady, something's going to happen. And it did every single time. Pat Mahomes made a name for himself. That kid played phenomenally, and he was right there with Brady. And if it wasn't for D Ford lining up offsides, I blame his parents for naming him a letter. And
D-E-E.
Yeah, that's how you spell D. And he can't. And he
that's
plays.
How you spell the letter D.
Yeah. How else do you spell D? Like you spell F, E-F, right?
Yeah.
F,
you spell
E-F-F.
You spell the letter E, E-E-E.
Yeah, exactly. What are you laughing at? You spell H?
I'm with you.
How do you spell H? E-T-C-H.
A-Y-C-H.
Oh, okay, that works too. There's all different ways. It's an oxymoron or something like that, right? Where it's spelled one way. I'm kidding. I know what an oxymoron is. Anyway, so back to the call. So the offsides thing happens. They pick the ball off and then it's offside. So terrible. That sucks. That's on you. Yeah, that is what it is. But overtime comes. And in overtime, the Chiefs offense, the most exciting offense in the game, doesn't even get a chance to touch the ball. So now here it comes. What are we doing? How overtime in anything? Because you don't want it to be like I hate penalty kicks in soccer. I think that's you play 90 minutes of like crazy soccer and the game's like 0-0, which is dumb too. It's 0-0. So, and then all of a sudden, if you see the final score, it's like 6-5 because of penalty kicks. No, I think that's stupid. Line up 5 feet in front of a goalie who's got a net 30 freaking miles long.
And he just dives guesses. Whichever way he decides.
That's so stupid. Same thing in hockey with penalty shots, or not? What is that? What they are? Penalty shots. So overtimes. Most overtimes suck. Baseball's got it right, man. You just keep playing. Get another inning. Go ahead. We're just gonna keep going. One more inning. I like the idea of just playing a full quarter. Give them a whole quarter, and when that quarter is over, what's the score? You get in, and you get a full quarter. So say in regular, you can still have ties. You just play one overtime quarter. But in the playoffs, obviously, you just go to another quarter. And you could play all day. I don't care. But somebody's got to win. But it's got to be the game, that you win because of the game. I don't like. And so basically the point is they won the toss. The Patriots won the toss. They got the ball. And they go down, score. Chiefs never get the ball, and you don't get to see the most exciting player an exciting offense do anything, which would have been amazing.
If they want to change the rules of how they structure overtime, that's fine. But it can't be because in this game, the most exciting player this year
it doesn't
didn't get a
but
chance.
that's why rules get changed, because of things like that. When
shouldn't be though. That's not a reason.
What it is, that's just the overwhelming. That's what brought it over the top. People have been talking about NFL overtimes for years, and overtime in football in general for years. There are people that don't like college overtime. There are people, they start too close, which that's another thing. I'm okay with the way college does it too if you do it in the NFL, but I don't feel like you should just automatically give somebody a field goal. I feel like if, both teams should be able to have the ball, but start at the 20. Like if you kneeled it, just give them the ball on the 20 and you got to go 80 yards. Kick a field goal, you score, whatever, however it works. I don't like starting on the 25 of the other team on the other side of the field. Anyway, man, I've got the burps today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little better than what you had last week.
Boy, ain't that the truth. Man, I'm so bummed out about that too because Marty. I really wanted to talk a lot about Marty Brennaman. I didn't get a chance to.
Well, we've got the entire baseball season to do that.
That's right. So anyway, that's that. I don't know. You got anything you want to add to that?
It's just, to me, that's what I mean. If you want to change it, but not because Patrick Mahomes didn't get a chance. Because if you want to talk about, you got to play. It should be the game. You are playing the game. If you want to make it sudden death like it is right now, I think that's fine because defense is just as much a part of the game as offense. So
but you don't have a chance if you don't get the ball.
But that's on your defense.
I agree, and
totally
I agree. I don't know if I agree, but I agree with what you're saying that it is on your defense. And be honest, let's be honest, the Chiefs' defense sucked. I mean, they're like 27th in run defense, and which it is what it is. When you have an offense like that, though, you're going to be the defense is going to play a lot, and there's going to be a lot of yards racked up on them because of how good your offense is. The other team's offense is going to get more chances because you're going to score a lot and give them the ball fast.
Maybe there should be instead of that, maybe there should be a different way instead of a coin toss to decide who gets the ball first. Maybe you keep the rules the same. It's sudden death, but
how else do you figure it out?
Oh, I don't know that. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Instead of a coin toss to decide who gets the ball first in a sudden death.
Each kicker takes their shoe off of their longest-footed kicker gets the ball first.
Yeah, you measure foots. That's really the only logical way to handle it.
That's how I'd do it.
If it's not that, then keep it the same because there's really no other way to do it.
There you go. All right, so you know how we are with football, man. It's exciting, it's fun, but I'm ready to get into something else. What about you?
So am I.
All right, so before we get into baseball, let's do a little swipe left, swipe right.
Okay, I'm excited.
That's swipe left and swipe right. You like that?
I like when you hit the play button on that.
Yep. All right. So I'll start off. All right. Here we go. Swipe left, swipe right. Girl Scout cookies.
Swipe a hard right.
Yes.
What
is your Girl Scout cookie of choice?
It is, for years and years, it was the Thin Mint. It is now
so gross.
It is now and I'm going to forget, maybe tag along or something like
100%.
The peanut butter and chocolate one.
Yes,
okay,
dude, the tag along is the greatest cookie ever made. First off, chocolate and mint, they don't belong together. Just like ice cream and mint don't belong together. I don't want your mint ice cream. I don't want your York peppermint patty garbage, and I don't want your Thin Mints. I don't want good tasting breath and delicious sweet chocolate to go in the same thing. It doesn't work. So, big time swipe left to that. There's two Girl Scout cookies I don't like. Whatever one has the coconut crap on it, disgusting. Thin Mints, swipe left. I know that's the most famous. I'm a hard left on that bad boy. Tagalongs, greatest cookie ever. Let me explain something to you, okay? Mm-hmm. The best. So every year, the Girl Scout cookies come in March, right? You get them at the beginning of March, I think, or something like that. And I always have my boxes of tag-alongs during the tournament, NCAA tournament.
Absolutely.
So for years now, probably since high school, or since I got out of high school, I'd say, one day of the first 3-4 days, I will sit in front of my TV with multiple boxes of tag-alongs and a half a gallon of milk. Mm-hmm. And that's all I eat during that day of tournament play.
That's as good a tradition as I can think of.
So, you love dipping cookies in milk. Tagalongs, most people feel they're difficult. A lot of people like to freeze them. I actually heard a guy today, my boss likes to freeze them and then kind of break them up and put them in his ice cream. I'm good with that too. But the freezing thing, I'm cool. That's cool. Everybody loves frozen chocolate. It is what it is. But I'm going to tell you the best way to eat a tagalong.
Let me hear it.
You can't dip it in milk, right? Because of the chocolate outside, nothing soaks in. You take a little nibble. All right, just a little nibble make sure you get into the cookie part so it opens the pores of the cookie. You turn, then if that bite is at the top of the cookie, turn your cookie about 45 degrees. Dip into the milk to where the milk gets to where you took the bite, and let it slowly suck up the milk into the cookie. And your cookie doesn't break like an Oreo and fall into your milk. Because it's got the chocolate outside coating to hold the delicious milk for my tag-along dip.
Let me tell you two things about that. One, that sounds like a lot of work.
Dude,
a whole lot of work.
A lot of work. Look, it's this. That's all I did. I just took a little nibble. If the sideways turn goes with the dip, your hand automatically turns. So, bite, dip.
You still have to position your hand correctly on the cookie,
You grab the cookie
so that you're not dipping your fingers in the milk every time.
Well, your fingers are going to go. You're going to get a little milky on the end of your finger. It's going to happen. You're going to get some milky tips. You want to wear gloves. You want to do something like that. You're going to get milky tips.
For some reason, that makes me uncomfortable when you say that.
No. Listen. Milky tips.
Okay, that didn't help at all. Number two, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the research and development that had to go into that.
It's years, dude, years of it. And people used to tell me I was crazy about tag-alongs because I'd buy tag-alongs by the case if I could. Mm-hmm. And everybody's thin mints, and this nasty tropical coconut garbage that they got. Everybody's telling me those are the best. Caramel Delights or something because it's got caramel. Right. I love caramel, not with coconut.
Thank you.
And
same.
Slowly, you know what's becoming the most famous cookie? The tag-along.
Tag-along.
Once again, I used to wear jeans. I'd wear them until I wore them out and they'd have holes in them. Now all of a sudden, people buy jeans with holes in them. Who started that?
You did.
Daddy started that.
You did, Daddy.
Who started the tag-along? Who started the tag-along trend? Daddy started that.
You did, Daddy. Listen.
Speaking of feeling uncomfortable, if you say you did, Daddy, one more time.
I'm not with you on the Thin Mints. I like Thin Mints. I put them in the freezer. They're delicious.
Gross.
I think.
Gross.
I'm into the chocolate and the peanut butter together. Just that taste. So I don't dip my cookies. So, but I'm with you though. I will sit there and go through boxes all by myself of tag-alongs, Thin Mints, whatever they are.
Yeah.
During the tournament.
I have a problem. I'm going to tell you right now, if you have a daughter, a niece, anything like that, hit us up on Facebook. I'll buy some Girl Scout cookies from you. Every person that asks me, I always buy. Like my niece, when my niece was in Girl Scouts, I bought like 4 or 5 from her. Aaron's cousin was in it for years. I always buy 4 or 5 from them. But the people, just random girls come to my front door, boom, 2 boxes.
Yeah.
Walk into a customer or something like that. They got something sitting on the counter. Boom, 2 boxes. I buy 2. I think I had like 12 boxes of cookies last year.
Yeah. The thing is, they've gotten quite a bit more expensive than they used to be.
How much are they now?
$3.50, $4, something like that.
I feel like that's not that bad.
If you go to the store, especially the problem with the tag-alongs is you get less cookies with the tag-alongs
that does
than
suck.
any other.
It's 15. You get like a 15. It's a 15 pack.
It takes me like 5 minutes to eat a box of tag-alongs.
It does.
For $3.50, $4, you go there, you can get 2 packages of Oreos for $4.
But when I dip my Oreos in milk, they just disintegrate into nothing, and then I got to drink all my milk to get the cookie that fell into the bottom of my milk jug.
What you don't want to do.
Speaking of milky tips, that's a full milky finger.
What you don't want to do. What you don't want to do, Daddy, is put it is hold the cookie in the milk for like 10 minutes. If that's what you're doing, it sounds like that's what you're doing.
You gotta soak that thing, man.
No,
that thing's
man.
got to be good to go.
No,
man. I need
throw it in there just enough to taste the milk on it. That's it.
Not taste the milk on it. The milk needs to be in it.
It gets in it just enough.
Well, you take the tag along, dip it. Perfect. Chocolate sealed cookie.
I'm going to try it one time.
And it'll be tried one time, and then it'll be done multiple times
practiced
after
from
that.
there on out.
From there on out, exactly. All right. Swipe left, swipe right. Here we go. Oblong, right? That's a goofy word.
Okay.
Swipe left, swipe right to using the word alley-oop.
It's one of those words. There are some words in sports that are really silly and would be embarrassing in any other walk of life, I feel like.
Yeah.
But like especially in basketball, that's been my thing. My biggest thing in my life
is basketball.
Has been basketball. So there are words involved in the sport that I don't even think about.
You just say alley-oop today. So Xavier lost today. It was a crushing blow. I don't want to talk about the game at all. However, Providence had multiple alley-oops, in the game, and I was starting to get pissed off. And I looked at my dad, and I said, he was sitting next to me at the game. I said, they've got to stop the alley-oop. And as I said it, I went, alley-oop. That's the weirdest. Like, where did that come from? Were you in an alley? And what's an oop? Were you in an alley and you accidentally threw the ball up to the guy and you went, oop, my bad?
It was first invented in the ABA in the 70s, and it was portrayed on the Will Ferrell movie Semi-Pro. They did they did in a game like the very first alley-oop ever.
Oh, man. So
anyway.
Somebody's already had this conversation?
Well, no, it's just a joke in the movie.
Oh, man. I thought this was a really good...
It is a really good thing because I swipe left on alley-oop.
Yeah,
so I use it because that's just been the term that was determined at some point that's what that's called. A lob. A lot of people say lob.
Now it's a lob. Now it's a lob city and stuff like that.
I spent 37 years saying alley-oop, and it's just one of those things. But if you really do, I'm 100% with you on this. If you really do think about it, that's the silliest, weirdest, most dumb thing,
isn't it?
It's weird.
So I am making it a point in my life to never say, unless I'm making fun of it or talking about it like this. Mm-hmm. But in a game, I'm not going to say alley-oop. I'm not going to do it anymore.
I like that.
I'm taking it out of my vocabulary in game.
I like it. I like your decision on that.
Thank you. So anyway, I swipe left to alley-oop as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's the only ones I got, man.
Okay. I'll give you one real quick, and we could probably talk about this for a while, but we'll do it quickly.
Let's do it later.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. All right, let's move on to the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Congratulations to the three. Is it three newest Hall of Famers?
It's 4.
All right, so you got Mariano Rivera, Mike Mussina,
Roy Halladay.
Roy Halladay. That's the one I keep forgetting.
Roy
Halladay.
Edgar Martinez.
So Roy Halladay, this one's that's kind of a bummer because dude trying to fly some kind of crazy airplane wrecked and died last year. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a tough time. I found out today his son, 18 years old, pitching at Penn State or something like that.
Yes.
He's pitching somewhere.
That's correct. Yeah. Penn State.
So good for him. I'm excited. I'm excited for that family. They need good things to happen in their life, and this is a good thing. But let's be honest. The reason we're talking about the Hall of Fame, there's 2 reasons. One, Mike Mussina,
You could argue for or against.
Sure, you could argue for or against. Without a doubt, I think Mariano Rivera belongs in the Hall of Fame. Mariano Rivera became the first unanimous decision to go into the Hall of Fame. That makes me upset for one reason. Not because he was the first unanimous, but because it took this long. And guys got skipped over that should have been. Like Ken Griffey Jr. should have been the first, or, when he was 2 years ago, he should have been the first. He was the highest vote getter ever at 99.3 or something like that percent. Yep. Should have been first. I'm a little annoyed by that. As I keep thinking about this, they're in the Hall of Fame anyway. That number, how many people voted for you, means nothing. Literally, he is the exact same as Mike Mussina. They're both in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, because once you're in the Hall of Fame, and especially the more time that passes, people don't really remember at what percentage your vote. You have to have 75% of the vote, right?
Correct.
So Rivera was 100%. Mussina was 76.7, I think.
Yeah, and you got to have 75% of the vote too. And you can vote for up to 10 people. You don't have to vote for 10 people. Bonds and Clemens both jumped up a little bit. From 56, still. They went from like 56, 57 up to 59. Mm-hmm. They have 3 more years left. Obviously, there's the weird thing is somebody had to vote for Barry Bonds and not Roger Clemens, because I think Roger Clemens was like 0.3% less than Barry Bonds,
which is so silly.
Explain to me how you're voting for Barry Bonds, but for some reason you're still not voting for Roger Clemens. Who is that guy?
Maybe if you believe that Barry Bonds wasn't involved in performance-enhancing drugs and Roger Clemens was, or something, or
but
you have a personal
come on,
problem.
Let's be honest, that don't make any. That come on. Nobody thinks that. At this point,
as far as all that stuff goes, enough time has passed for me. I don't care about that stuff
I
anymore.
don't care either.
They both should be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion.
I think they both should be in the Hall of Fame. You could take
Manny
out
Ramirez should be in there easily too. He's way below them.
Yeah,
he's easily deserving.
Manny,
he's way below
Manny
them.
got
because of the
busted
same thing.
multiple times. I mean, and it like you said, it is what it is. I think it's stupid. I think they'll make it in. I think they're going to make it in. It'll probably be their very last year, but I think it'll happen. You're starting to see some of the old hats fall out, and there's 400 voters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to happen. Those two are going to make it.
Which, that many voters, I guess, is the reason that you're going to have at least one not voting for. It still doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any
it's
sense to
still
me at all.
really frustrating.
Yeah.
I know there's nothing you can do about it at this point, but your Ken Griffey Jr.'s, your Nolan Ryans, your Cal Ripkins, your Tony Gwynn's, Bob Gibson's, Sandy Koufax's, Hank Aaron's, the guys that there's no debate. There is no debate about whether or not they should be in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Somehow somebody decides to not vote for them.
Like literally, think about that. Tony Gwynn, right? Like, look at Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn's a Hall of Famer. Like, I'm saying before he retired. He's a Hall of Famer. Like, we all know he's a Hall of Famer. But somebody purposely left him off the ballot. Purposely left him off the ballot because they didn't want him to be unanimous. Same thing with Griffey. Same thing with, like I'm saying, like you said, Bob. Like, think about that. Like, does it matter? Does it really matter if you leave him off? No, it doesn't, because he's going into the Hall of Fame.
He's going in.
So why be an idiot and do that?
There's some kind of vendetta, you would think, against that player. Although, especially for a guy like Tony Gwynn, who was loved by everybody.
Yeah, and first, but that's not supposed to, it's not what kind of person they are.
Right.
You're not voting on the person they are.
Right. Ty Cobb's in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly. He's the biggest assholes ever walked the face of the earth.
Right. Yeah. But still, if that's a reason for somebody to not vote you in, a lot of people couldn't stand Barry Bonds as a person.
Sure.
Maybe that's a reason. It should never be a reason to vote or not vote somebody in.
No, it's ridiculous.
But that might be a reason. But if that's a reason that somebody wouldn't, a guy like Tony Gwynn, a guy like Cal Ripken Jr., guys like those that were easily Hall of Fame, all-time great players, and super good guys, by all accounts, what would be the reason other than there's a problem with you if you're not voting?
You're a baseball writer. You're an old hat. You got problems. You have issues. You've got this thing where nobody's ever done it. Now, thank God, Mariano Rivera got voted in unanimously. I'm so excited because now when players come in, it's not going to be a big deal anymore. People should retire, and you should look at him and go, 100%, that dude's unanimous. There's no doubt. Derek Jeter next year will be a no doubt unanimous vote. That dude deserves it. I mean, he Mr. October, one of the greatest playoff. I mean, he is what it is. He may not be one of the best players of all time.
Yeah, that's my thing.
But let's be honest. I mean, the dude was one of the best teammates. I mean, he was a great player.
He was.
Still at 3,000 hits. He's still, hell of a guy. It's just, I don't know, man. It just kills me that these people will purposely leave you off a ballot even though you're the greatest.
It's also odd, and I think most people probably consider Mariano Rivera the greatest closer of all time. Yeah. But it's even more odd that he's the one that is the first
closer.
Because for years and years people didn't want to vote closers in at all.
No,
there are only was there one closer in?
Well, yeah,
or
like
two closers.
I think Lee Smith is in there, right? Lee Smith just.
I think he just did.
That wasn't
right?
too long ago.
I don't know what he did between the end of his career and however many years it took to get him in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are only 3 or something in there.
Yeah.
So your first unanimous
is going to be a
closer.
Yeah, that's
it's
because he's a Yankee. That's what it is. It's because he's a Yankee. That's the whole deal.
At the same time, a lot of people
Yankee.
hate the Yankees, so they wouldn't vote for him because I don't know. I mean,
yeah, it's polarizing team. I don't know, but going into that though, how about Edgar Martinez, who for years people said would never make it because he was specifically a DH, never played the field. First, is he the first? No,
first DH.
I don't know.
Might be.
Either way,
it was his 10th year on the ballot.
That dude.
Why is he just now voted in?
Well, and a lot of that is people. There are people out there that are, I don't know how you say it, like hired to call these sports writers and hype up different players. Like they're like Edgar Martinez has people that are calling people going, hey, I don't know. He doesn't hire them, I'm sure. It's maybe his agent. I don't know who does. Or the team, Seattle. I don't know. But somebody's out there. There's always people pushing for certain players. It happens all the time around that time of the year. Ex-players talking about their guys on social media and making calls to the guys trying to push their guy to get it. So it's just a matter of, I think a lot of that is if you're an iffy guy, people leave you off. Like if Griffey's out there, some people will just write Ken Griffey Jr. and not write anybody else because they want him to go by himself. Or they'll only write a couple guys. But to be honest, I mean, the field kind of cleared up over the last few years. It opened up a little bit this year.
Yeah, but still, not everybody vote. You can vote maximum 10 guys, but not everybody votes for 10
most
guys.
People
you
don't. From the way I understand it, most people don't.
But so then, I mean,
what
you
made
never
it,
have
what made it
more
happen
than
this year?
like this is a big class. I feel like 4 guys.
Yeah,
4 guys plus the 2 or 3 from
I don't know what it's called anymore. I thought it was the Veterans Committee, but there's some old people division or something.
Yeah. So this is going to be a big class, but a big class is 4. You know, like why is it? Why are guys not getting in? You know, are you voting? There were I counted 12 or 15 guys that were on the ballot that received 0 votes. Guys like Kevin Youkilis, Juan Pierre, like those kind of guys.
Well, once that happens, if you have less than 12% of the vote, you're taken off.
Right.
You won't be on.
They were all first.
They're all first year guys, and there's certain criteria, and if you meet the criteria, you're automatically on. Even if you're not even close to being a Hall of Famer, it's a certain amount of years in the league and at bat. There's different things that go into it. So yeah, those guys aren't going to make it. They're done. But I don't know. It's the Hall of Fame. There's got to be a different way to do it. It'll never change. It's always going to be sports writers.
We're in agreement that it shouldn't be, though, right?
Yes, 100%. We had this conversation last year.
Yes.
I can't stand it. It's dumb.
It doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
I have such a problem with the way Halls of Fame and All-Star games. I've been very clear about that. I know people are getting sick of hearing me talk about that.
But in the more I think about it, the All-Star game. Man, this is tough for me because I keep going back, and I'm such a back and forth. Like I try to talk myself, try to play devil's advocate to myself so I can see the other side. It's an exhibition game for the fans. Let the fans vote. Let them have a little say in it, but just not as much say as they get. Let them have a little bit.
And don't call it the All-Star game.
That's fine.
Call it the favorite player game or something like that.
Call it the you can call it the favorite the fans exhibition game.
Something like that.
I'm good with that. I don't care what you call it. It's always going to be the All-Star game because that's just how it is. But that's my thing. That's just another point to it. But the Hall of Fame, I mean, that's legit, man. That's not just some exhibition game, man. That is the pinnacle of these people's careers. And the people that are voting on them are people that, like you said, I mean, Barry Bonds wasn't liked by the media. Mm-hmm. So there's people that are going to have a vendetta. That's not the way that should be voted on.
Nope.
Should it be straight stats and things like that? You know, I think there's so much more. I don't know how to fix it.
I feel like it should be former players. It should be the peers of these guys that played with and against them. I think that's what makes the most sense to me.
Yeah,
is guys who played in those eras. So any retired player, maybe you even say any retired player who played 10 or more years or 8 or more years in the major leagues gets to vote. You don't have to vote, but if you want to vote, it's going to be thousands of guys probably that have an opportunity.
You put that 8 to 10 year mark. That's
maybe not thousands, but up there, pretty
there's
a lot.
400 people voting now, so
it would be more than that. I feel like, but you don't have to vote. So even if half the guys vote, you still might get 400 votes,
right?
And that's plenty. And that's the people. And look. They could do the same thing. They could not vote for guys who deserve it, that they just didn't like, guys who played against Barry Bonds, who hated his guts or something like that, might not vote for him. But it makes more sense to me for the people the guys who played with and against those guys. They have the best sense of who was a great player and who wasn't, and who most deserved for not only on the field stuff, but stuff that they know about those guys that might be some extra little thing that they feel like they deserve to be recognized as an all-time great because they were a great player and because of whatever else, because of their work ethic or whatever else
how they were in the locker room, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, being a good teammate, things like that. I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. I think did we just fix the Hall of Fame voting? Did you just fix it?
There's
I think you just fixed it.
There has to be some reason.
Do you got his
there
number
has
still?
to be some reason that's not, because that's too simple. It's got to be some reason that's not being done now. It just doesn't make sense to have the writers do it. But anyway,
you think A-Rod will make it?
He easily deserves to. I mean, if we're talking about Bonds and Clemens making it, yes, A-Rod should easily be in there.
He's not going to, though, is he?
I guess not.
That dude turned his life around and has become somebody again. I mean,
I was never as down on him as everybody else was, to be honest with you. But
I never.
I know a lot of people didn't like him and whatever. He's
a phenomenal baseball player.
He won an MVP on a last place team.
Has that ever been done before or again?
Probably not.
I doubt it too. Congratulations, Alex Rodriguez, for winning the MVP
with the Texas Rangers team that probably won 60 games.
Yeah. The reason they lost is because they couldn't pay anybody else. All right, so from speaking of the Hall of Fame, let's talk about the Reds' biggest new big giant Hall of Fame size move.
Speaking of spreading the money around to several people.
Spreading the money around. Sonny Gray. So Shed Long gone. Poor guy got traded immediately after literally got picked up by the Yankees and then traded to the Mariners. So Shed Long is gone. Another prospect is what it is. We got another mediocre pitcher, and everybody's super excited about it. This dude has got a 4.9 ERA last year. What was it? Yeah, 4.9 ERA last year, 3.72 the year before that. I mean, when he was in Oakland, his first 3 years, he was phenomenal.
He was great in Oakland.
He was awesome. He's mediocre now, and I don't know if he's going to be any better. Here's the deal, though. He gets out there and he gets some innings, and he'll eat up some innings. No, he won't. I take that back. He's thrown over 200 innings twice in his career, his second and third year in Oakland. Last year, 130. Year before that, 65. Year before that, 97. So is he going to be an innings eater-upper? I don't know.
It depends on how well he pitches. I mean, we also don't know how David Bell handles his pitching staff, whether he's a guy that pulls a guy who's going good after 6 innings.
He's a big sabermetric kind of guy, so I would assume that there's gonna be a whole lot of bullpen being used.
Possibly. We saw that really kick off, really get big last year.
Yeah.
People
there were guys starting bullpen guys out of their bullpen. So I'm happy that the Reds are making these moves. It's good, and they're trending in the right direction because it's not a normal thing for them to go out and get free agents. I love it. I love them going out and doing this. They said they were going to go in the free agent market. They haven't signed a free agent yet.
They've been trades.
Right, and I think a big part of that is the Machado Harper deal. Once those two sign, you're going to start seeing people start going. But everybody's just kind of waiting for the Machado Harper.
What's taking so long with that anyway?
I don't know, because I heard it was supposed to be done by the end of last week, at least with Machado. I think these dudes are just holding baseball hostage because that's what's going on. People want to find out if they're going to get him, if they're not going to get him, and then they're going to decide who the next free agents go after, and the rest of the free agents are waiting for them to sign to see what kind of money they get to see where they're going to fit in their free agent market. So you're not going to see free agents sign like the Reds wanted to do, and they said they got the money to do it. Although I guess technically this is, because they did re-sign Sonny Gray when it was all based on they had to reach an agreement with Sonny Gray. So they did sign Sonny Gray to a multi-year deal and picked him up. So I would consider that a trade free agent. a free agent trade. How about that? You like that?
Yeah, they extended him. That was part of the deal. They had, after they agreed with the Yankees on the trade, they had 72 hours to sign him to an extension. And he said all kinds of great things already about the Reds. He's really excited to be here. Said his dad was a Reds fan. He said he loves chili. He's trying to.
He's doing all the right things, man.
He's doing
all the right things. Here's the deal. You want to get into the right things? Answer my tweet back. Come on to the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. Let's get Sonny Gray on. Just shout. Get on. I mean, if you want to come to the house, you can come to the house. Sure. Just call me up, man.
Yep.
Call me from a burner phone. Call me from a pay phone. I don't care. I don't need your number. I don't want your number. I just want to talk to you once.
We would love to have Sonny Gray or really any Red right now to even just react to all the moves that have gone on this postseason. And
ex-Reds, former Reds, Reds fans. No, I mean,
we know a lot of those. That'd be pretty easy.
Yeah, that's pretty simple. But yeah, come on to the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. I know you guys listen because I see you on SoundCloud. It shows me who's listening, and I see Johnny Bench out there listening all the time. George Foster listened last week. We're getting some old Reds listening.
Yeah.
There was also a guy in Nigeria who listened to us last week.
Mm-hmm.
So
Italy.
Appreciate
we're
both
huge
of those.
in Italy now.
Huge in Italy. We appreciate all of the listens. Speaking of that, we're the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. You can catch us on Facebook, SoundCloud. What else we do?
iTunes,
YouTube,
Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts. I'm just going to repeat what you say.
America Online. Microsoft Windows 95.
Yeah. You catch us on all of them.
Yeah.
Castbox. So, on that note, I'm excited about what they're doing. They said they were going to spend money. This was the first time they spent money, but they're making moves. The Reds don't do that, and this year has to be the year, man. Marty's leaving. They have got to do something.
I think they will do something, but by doing something, I think they'll just be better than they've been the last few years.
I'm good with that,
and I am too, because
compete for the division. Be in it.
They will a little. I think. I don't think they'll win the division. I don't know that I think they'll make the playoffs, but just because I'm excited, I was really excited about Tanner Roark. I was really excited about Alex Wood. I was really excited about Sonny Gray because they're better options than what we've had the last few years.
Exactly.
To your point, when you first started this, though, Sonny Gray's coming off a roughish year. Roark's coming off a roughish year. And Alex Wood is coming off okay year. Okay years those guys are coming up. So they're still all young enough where they can bounce back. They all have had pretty good success in seasons past before. And they've already proven themselves to be decent to good major league pitchers at times. So there's, and everybody's excited about the coaching staff, the new pitching coach, and it's Derek Johnson, I think, or Derek Johnson. Why does it sound?
I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know what his name is. Something like that.
For some reason, it's not coming to me. But
something Johnson. I'm looking something else up.
So anyway, it is Derek Johnson. So
there you go.
But he, everybody's excited about him. He did a great job with the staff in Milwaukee. So people were really high on him. So these new guys coming off tough years, they'll get with him. They brought back the guy who I thought was going to be former Red Sox manager, the guy who worked in the front office this past year that I thought was going to be the next Reds manager, John Farrell, to be a pitching consultant, I believe it was. So they're forming a different story around their pitching than they've had the last few years. They're setting it up to be a lot better, and I hopefully there's potential to be a lot better. I don't know if I feel like it's going to be so significantly better that we're going to win the division. They're going to win the Central.
Just being better is what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
be better. And if you're better with this offense, we have a phenomenal offense.
Yeah,
that just a little better is going to do a lot. Is going to go a long way.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, man. But you know how I am, man. I'm Mr. Optimistic. I'm excited about everything. I thought the Reds were going to win it all last year. So it is what it is.
You and Tyler both.
Me, yeah, I'm still there, man. I'm still there. Speaking of, Tyler is a good friend of ours, blood relative, as in he's our cousin. He also has a podcast on the opposite coast, West Coast boy, LA, UCLA student. Check out his the cheap seats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
on UCLAradio.com.
Yep,
every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific.
So it's at 8 o'clock.
Starts
at 8 o'clock on. If you're watching this or listening to this, it probably starts at 8 o'clock.
Hey, look,
unless you're in Nigeria or
Italy
or Netherlands, the Netherlands has popped in there a few times.
Yeah,
so
we're big there.
Doing
too.
big things, brother.
You got to just get on America Online, use it as your search engine, and look up the
search Whitboy screen name.
Search at Whitboy.
What was your screen name on AOL?
Adam Reds fan.
Adam Reds fan.
And,
nice. That's a good one.
And
everybody thought that like I'd get in chat rooms and they thought I was a racist because they thought I was white boy, but I was Whit boy.
Oh yeah.
Missing an E there, home slice.
Yeah. So get on there and find out what the time difference is wherever you are,
wherever you live, and
it's 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. Cheap Seats Radio.
There you go.
Seats.
All right, so from there, let's do what we like to do. The big three. We're going to jump to the NBA.
Yes, sir.
All right, so the big three is actually going to be a little mixture. We're going to go through these kind of quick though.
Okay. Yep.
I think we can go through these quick because the big three things in the NBA right now. We'll start off with what I think is the biggest thing going on right now, and that's Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony was after he performed so poorly, and the Rockets weren't winning early in the season. They had a rough start. He was not performing well. He was averaging like 13 points a game. He played 10 games with them, and they decided to part ways, even though he stayed on the roster.
Yep.
So he's been on the roster for 2 months and has not played. He's just been, I guess, working out on his own or whatever.
I don't. Has he even been at the game? He hasn't even been at games, right?
No, he's not. On
they
the bench
basically just told him to get the heck out of there.
He's on the same island that J.R. Smith is. They're living off the land together. I don't know, climbing trees and getting coconuts and.
Man, that sounds like that would be a fun thing to do. Climb trees and get coconuts.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of what you do on a deserted island. Anyway,
me both.
Talk to a volleyball, name it Wilson or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, those guys are both on their respective rosters and have been asked to not be part of the team.
That's so great
for the last couple months.
So anyway, Carmelo gets traded to the Bulls.
He gets traded to the Bulls. There are a couple other little pieces like draft rights to a couple guys and stuff like that. Ultimately, the Bulls have said he will not play. He will not play for them. So the NBA trade deadline is February 7th, I believe, a couple weeks from now.
They're basically keeping him on the roster right now, and they're going to try to make a trade. And if a trade doesn't pop up by the deadline, they're just going to waive him.
Yep. And as long as he clears waivers, they're going to waive him and then or release him, and then he will become a free agent for anyone to pick up.
So, who is the team? Is there a team out there that wants Carmelo Anthony? Does anybody really want a old, I don't want to say washed up, maybe washed up, we talked earlier today about the ball sticking sometimes instead of moving, and when the ball gets to him, it sticks. Mm-hmm. It's stuck. Is anybody looking for that or even want that?
The thing is that's the book on him now, but there's still potential because he was. I mean, people considered him probably the best scorer in the league for a few years. In his prime, probably early Knicks days. Maybe even the last year or two in Denver, first few years with the Knicks, and he could possibly still be that.
He can still score. I mean, in the 10 games he played this year, he scored 20 points. 4 times, almost 4 times, 17 one game. But, I mean, he had a 28-point game, 24 points, 22 points. You don't just do that on accident in the NBA. My man can still do something. It's just, will he be okay with doing it?
He said early Well, he said when he was still with Oklahoma City last year that he laughed at a reporter that suggested that he might come off the bench and said, that's ridiculous in so many words.
Right.
But he once he got to Houston, he realized, oh man, wait a minute. So Oklahoma City, it didn't work out with them. They traded me to the Hawks and never played a game with them. They got rid of me. I signed with the Rockets. My opportunities are getting slimmer and slimmer here.
That was the best opportunity for him.
Yeah, it seemed like it, and it didn't work out for him there either. So, people were talking about the Lakers as a possibility because he and LeBron are good friends.
Him and LeBron are buddies, and LeBron's already told D. Wade to kick rocks because he didn't work out, and so it's not like if he gets there and things aren't working out, LeBron's not just going to keep him around. He's going to tell him to kick rocks. So. What? That's another one. Kick rocks. Why does that mean leave? Kick rocks. I might kick rocks on my way to see you.
You could if you're walking. Yeah. Yep.
And you tell me to leave, I might kick rocks leaving too.
Yep. You can kick rocks
besides
really
the point.
anytime you'd like.
So, so the Lakers will be a good fit. They don't really have a shooter, but is he willing to just sit at the 3-point line and let LeBron kick it out to him all day long?
Really, that kind of makes sense if he can be a shooter, if he can shoot the ball efficiently and at a decent percentage, then he can. And if he's willing to make himself just kind of a spot up shooter. Another problem was he wasn't playing much defense. He's never been a great defender, so that hurts a team too. You're hurting your team mostly on the defensive end. And then if you're not being a really good scorer, then you're not bringing a whole lot of value. So if he can be, who better to play with than LeBron, who's going to draw as much attention as anybody and is as good as anybody at making the cross-court pass to the open guy in the corners or the wings or whatever. If you're willing to be that player to change your game like Kevin Love did and like Chris Bosh did, then it might work out for you. You might find a little bit of success there. Besides that, though, possibly Portland, I heard. Maybe.
I've heard the Sixers. I don't know. He ain't going to work. I'm going to be honest with you. He's not going to work out anywhere he goes because he can't play defense, and that's the whole part. That's going to be the whole problem. His offense doesn't make up for his defense. I don't feel like he's going to fit anywhere. He's going to get waived by the Bulls. It's going to suck because he's the type of player, he had the type of career that he should be retiring from somewhere, not like every other schlub, Tom, Dick, and Harry, that just they don't retire, they just don't get picked up.
What about if he's the Spurs Tracy McGrady? The Spurs picked up Tracy McGrady, and I think did they win a championship with him? He sat the bench. He didn't play. He hardly played for them, but he was with the Spurs for a year or two at the end of his career. And they were they still had Tim Duncan and Ginobili and Parker.
So Tracy McGrady, though, is a different type of cat. Like Tracy McGrady, I don't know how to say this. He was. I can see him being good in the locker room, good with kids, and telling them the good old days and who I am and what I used to do, and showing them things. I feel like Carmelo Anthony just seems like a dude that's off to the side by himself, doesn't want to help anybody. I could be wrong about that. Like I said, it's just how I feel. But
I don't know. I don't feel like I've really seen anything that makes it seem like he would be a detriment to your locker room. But
I don't know. The guy you want your younger players paying attention to, though?
Well, but if he's comfortable with just being in a reserve role on a decent team like that, and the Spurs have kind of turned it around already. They're not the same Spurs that they were for 20 years, but they're better than everybody thought they were going to be still. So maybe he does jump on the bench there and he plays 20 minutes a game or something like that, 18, 20 minutes a game, and he gets a few shots up. Popovich isn't going to stand for if you don't play defense, so maybe that doesn't work out because of that.
I don't know. I just don't know where the spot is because of the defensive side of things. The guy doesn't, and if you're only going to be a guy that comes out and you're basically just going to be a 3-and-D off the bench kind of guy, you're going to have to play defense. Otherwise, you're a liability out there. There's no reason for me to even put you out there unless it's at the end of the game and I need a shot.
He's still as good or better than I think some guys who are as bad or worse defensively.
But they know their role. They know what they're going to do. Is Carmelo even going to accept 15 minutes? Is he going to start getting pissy and throw tantrums and not and basically tell you he's not going to do that?
It seems like because he is starting to understand my opportunities are a lot more limited now than they were before. Just in the last year, 2 years, suddenly
I don't know if he thinks that or he understands. These guys got talking heads all around him telling him you're the greatest, you can still do it, this, that, the other.
He's veteran enough to know where he's at now. He signed a veteran minimum deal to play with the Rockets. He knows that's where he's at right now.
Right.
I mean, he
thought he was going to win he thought he was winning a championship with the Rockets. So
he did come off the bench for them too.
Yeah, true.
So he's got to understand if he doesn't, you're right. If he doesn't, and he's like, I still want to get 20 shots a game, and I want to play 35 minutes, that he's not going to get that anywhere. You know where he's going to get that? He's going to get that in China, or he's going to get that in another place that he can make a decent living, and he will be a superstar there.
People would love to do it. People would love to bring him in.
Stephon Marbury was the best player in China for like 10 years after he left the NBA.
Don't knock on them Starburys.
I couldn't stand Stephon Marbury, but anyway,
I had me some Starburys from Dave and Buster's.
Did you?
Not the shoes, but the shorts.
Okay,
the shants or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, right. He was right there with Iverson for me. Anyway,
man, you don't like anybody that's fun.
You're right. I do hate fun. No, but I really, legitimately, he could. That is a pretty good option for him because a team like that in another country would take him on and make him the biggest star, give him all the shots he wants.
Yeah, his whole thing, his best friend's whole deal is legacy, man. That's all he hears, and that's all that's out there now. He ain't gonna do that. It's not gonna happen.
He also has young kids here in the States.
It's not gonna happen. So speaking of. Shoot, I forgot even what you were talking about before, but because I was going to roll it in, but I'm going to do it now. So speaking of that.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
We got some fake toughness going on in the NBA, baby. Did you see the security guard trying to hold back Devin Booker? Almost pulled his pants down.
Yeah.
You're telling me that Devin Booker is pulling that 400-pound giant man?
Professional athlete.
Get it. Go get it. He was going after him. I like how they're both smiling at each other as they're telling each other to meet me in the back, meet me in the locker room. Let's go.
It was just like it was almost like two friends leaving somewhere and agreeing to like meet at a restaurant wherever they were going to eat.
Yeah.
Like they were looking at each other like, yeah, like kind of like nodding,
you want to go? You want to go get this done in the back?
Yeah,
locker room. Let's go.
All
right, cool. Let's go.
Okay, yep.
Take off, run.
Cool. See ya.
The funny thing is the play. The reason that this happened. So I just finally saw the play. I've seen them get pulled all over the place. I saw the play. Gorgie Jang didn't even hit him.
He didn't do anything.
It was a total fake. It was a total flop from an elbow to the face. And then all of a sudden they're fighting over it.
Did they even fight? It was like
no. They
Booker
didn't
put his hand in his face or something like that. That was the worst thing about it.
He pushed his neck.
And they kind of Gorgie Jang. I only saw his comments after the game. They asked him, and he said, I think a foul was called on him or something like that, and he was saying something to the ref. Devin Booker said something to him, so he said something back. So then they were kind of like. Up against each other, and then Devin Booker, I don't know if Jang said he hit him or something, or tried to hit him, or threw a punch or whatever. It was just kind of a. He did push it. I mean, Devin Booker's going to get in trouble for that. And he should. That's right. But that was like all there was to it, basically. And then they both got ejected. What did Gorgie Jang?
I don't know what Gorgie Jang got ejected for. To be honest with you, I have no idea. He had to say something, and even then, I don't know. I mean, I've heard what people say on the NBA. Anyway, I just think it's hilarious watching Devin Booker smiling as he's trying to run into the locker room, because you know that he's running into the locker room and probably going the opposite way of Gorgie Jang.
They didn't, because they asked Gorgie Jang whether he saw him in the back, whether they met up. And he said, "No, I didn't see him."
Yeah.
He
They
admitted
both
that.
went back there and went into their locker room. Nothing happened.
And what was funny was Gorgie Jang made the joke that they were running back there to exchange jerseys.
Yeah,
'cause
exactly.
That's the big thing now.
So, yeah, that's what we were doing. I wanted to change jerseys. I like that. That's good. That's
Anyway,
good.
that
All
was
right.
kind of a fun little thing.
Yep. All right. So number 2 and 3. We're gonna do these 2 and 3. These are the one is probably my favorite. Enos Cantor. This dude is got a country looking for him. A country like. All right, LeBron with the queen and the baby and all that stuff, or the prince and the princess or whatever he was calling LeBron, and LeBron came back. Like, you're going after the king, right? Like this, but now there's an actual king of a country or emperor or president or something that wants you dead. That's a little scary, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Enos Cantor is from
The
Turkey.
brother of Karim Cantor.
Right, yes. The more famous Karim Cantor. So Enos Cantor, center for the Knicks, he had to skip the Knicks game last week in London because he was afraid that his life would be taken by Turkish spies. That's a real thing because the president of Turkey,
There's going to be a movie made about this, dude. This is
Maybe.
going to be a Mission Impossible movie.
Enos Cantor has spoken out about this guy, how awful a ruler he is, called him the Hitler of this century, and because of that,
Ouch.
he's
If
the Turkish president.
let's be honest,
Once,
if you're going to call somebody the Hitler of this century, and they are, that's probably not the best thing to call them. That dude's going now because now Hitler's coming after you.
there's a warrant. The Turkish government issued a warrant for Enos Cantor to be deported back to
extradited or whatever. Yeah.
back to Turkey to be tried for
They're gonna
whatever
kill him,
it is.
so they can kill him.
So they can kill him. So they can put him in jail, and he can mysteriously be murdered in jail by another
man, ain't no
inmate or
mysterious
whatever.
nothing. They're gonna take him out back, put a gun in the back of his head. I joke about that, and it's not funny. Honestly, it's not funny at all.
It's
actually really scary.
It is actually
I
a very
feel bad
scary,
for this
serious
guy.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel really bad for him.
So he said he cannot ever go back to Turkey ever again. He cannot go back to Turkey. So seems like he's fine with that, honestly.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's not something he's worried about.
No, he has a pretty nice life, I think, in America right now, and but he has citizenship here, and so he's in America because he's not going.
That's crazy.
He's not going back there
that is
because
so
he's
crazy.
done for.
I'm telling you, a movie's gonna be made about this. It's
That's
gonna be some Jason Bourne, Turkey Jason Bourne. There might be a movie in Australia, in Turkey, already being produced.
Could be.
It's going to be called Enos Bourne.
Who would play Enos Cantor in the Enos Cantor
Who would
movie?
play which actors
What
that we
actor?
know of, or which Turkish actor? Because I don't know any Turkish actors.
Anybody who
Okay.
in the entire world would play Enos Cantor.
Enos Cantor would be played. I'm going to go ahead and say
Karim Cantor.
Karim Cantor could probably do a pretty good job of it. No, I'm going to say that's a pretty easy one for me. I feel like Danny DeVito would probably play Enos Cantor.
Obviously because of the resemblance, right?
I mean,
so they're built and their faces, all the features looking basically identical. So that I guess that would be the
Danny
most
DeVito,
obvious one
to me. Who
Yeah.
do you think it would be?
I was thinking Jamie Foxx, but now that you mentioned Danny DeVito, it makes more sense.
Jamie Foxx is going to have to get some of that Sammy Sosa skin bleaching stuff.
I think you just become a vampire.
We need to make that. That's got to be a topic. Well, I could spend a half hour on Sammy Sosa.
That Sammy Sosa became
being
a vampire? Yeah.
Here's the deal. This dude's changing his color, right? Not his color like legit, but he's changing the color of his skin.
He's a horse of a different color now.
There's no doubt about that. He's doing it because he's going into this next generation, right? Like this vampire thing. Like vampires live forever, right? So he's changing himself into his next human self.
Yeah, he has the widow's peak now in his hair.
It's crazy.
Um,
Wicked weird. This dude he scares me.
He looks like he has lipstick on.
Have you noticed that he only comes out at night?
Yes. All of his interviews have been
are
done
inside.
Yep.
Only comes out at night.
The lights are usually lowered.
Yep.
For his interviews. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he glows.
He
Anyway, okay, so last thing on the list, Kyle Korver had a really fun play.
He did. I'll be honest with you. I don't know who shot the ball, but
it doesn't matter.
And he's with Utah now. They were on defense. He was kind of jostling for position as a shot went up down low, like underneath the basket, and in the being caught up in the physicality of what was going on with him and the guy, going for position for the rebound. I think his eyes came off the ball a little bit. And the ball, it was one of those, I think it was one of those that barely grazed like the front of the bottom of the rim and went almost straight down and just got like a tiny bit of the bottom of the rim and then the net. And I guess
he thought the guy made the shot.
He thought it went in. So he grabbed the ball, ran out of bounds to throw the ball back in and get going the other way.
And immediately the referee blew the whistle because he just walked out of bounds.
Tossed the ball to Jay Crowder so that he could get going the other way. And Jay Crowder just kind of fell down laughing. And
I would have done the same thing.
That made Kyle laugh, and everybody got a good
check it out. It's on YouTube. It's a pretty funny video.
It is.
All right. So, in conclusion, when you get your box of tag-alongs, are you gonna try to dip them in milk?
I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try your method one time. If it works out incredible, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable.
Give it time. Don't just stick your little finger in there and your fingers start to get cold, so you pull it out. No, give it time.
Let me tell you,
it needs to soak. It's a small hole you got there to pull that water through. It's a lot of cookie inside that chocolate. Let it soak.
I might need you, once we get our cookies, I might need you to demonstrate for me one time.
Yeah, I'll do a YouTube video
so that I understand fully.
Apparently, people just do YouTube videos for everything.
Yes,
like,
that's correct.
Hey, how to turn hey, boys, my name's Dan. I'm going to show y'all how to turn the shower on today. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to open the shower curtain so you can see the water. And once you see the water faucets, you got to find the hot water and the cold water. Sometimes it's just a single fountain, and you got to turn that thing a little bit further to the left and the right. I mean, what who is watching? Obviously I am. Who's watching a YouTube video about how to turn a shower on?
Well, people watch YouTube videos of other people playing video games.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. My son, he's 5 years old. I go over to pick him up. He's at his cousin's house. He's got an iPad in front of him, and he's watching. I'm like, what game you playing there, buddy? I'm not playing a game. I'm looking down at the iPad. You're playing a game. I'm looking right at it. But there's people talking to you. It's this dude playing a video game, and he's YouTubing it and talking about what he's doing.
Yep. I guess,
Why are you watching that? I can't watch somebody play a video game. I get sick anyway. It makes me nauseous. Not like nauseous because I think it's stupid and I'm grossed out by it. Nauseous like it's a whole lot of weird movement on the screen, and like I get nauseous over. But it's what are you doing? That's so ridiculous.
I guess it could be educational if you play that game. And that person shows you something you didn't know about the game that helps you in some way. I guess it could be that.